Thank you for joining us, and we do have sad news to report as UCO says a university professor has passed away overnight.
Dr. John Meisch was the faculty advisor to UCO's Pre-Law Society. He also served on the President's Faculty Advisory Council. No memorial service information has been provided so far. President Patty Newholt-Ravikumar will release a statement in tomorrow's centralities. And as the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters its 8th day, delegations from both countries are meeting again for talks. Meanwhile, much of Europe is dealing with a massive refugee crisis. The United Nations says more than 1 million people so far have escaped the violence.
Ukrainians are very friendly. We don't want to have war. We don't want to have quarrels with somebody. We want just peace.
Dozens have been killed, including children and women, and it's a nightmare.
The European Union now offering refugees a temporary protected status. New information is released regarding a shooting in southeast Oklahoma City that left a suspect dead and an officer injured. Police have identified the suspect as Cray Stephen Wilson. Oklahoma City police say Officer Bryce Sheehan was responding to a suspicious person's call last night. Officers say Sheehan approached the suspect when the suspect then opened fire. The officer did return fire and the suspect later died at the hospital. Police say the officer was shot in the leg and has been treated for his injuries. Sheehan has been placed on administrative leave. After missing out on donations due to last week's winter storms, OBI is facing a crisis amidst an already low blood shortage. UCentral's Jocelyn Schifferdecker has more on how we can help out our community.
Oklahoma is in a blood shortage due to last month's winter weather. The storms led many people to cancel their donation appointments, and mobile donor sites had low attendance.
Our mobile blood drives are a big part of collecting blood, and when the icy conditions happen and people aren't able to make it out, that makes it very difficult to draw collections.
Now that warmer weather is here, the Oklahoma Blood Institute is working to restore the amount of donations that were lost.
We put out a lot of messaging with the first ice storm that we needed donors, that our inventory had dipped quite a bit through that. A lot of people turn out, and then we kind of run into this position where those people are now deferred for 56 days.
The OBI is always looking for more donors in order to meet their quota.
We need about 1,200 donors a day to meet our state's blood requirements, and that comes and goes very quickly.
As for why donating blood is important, it can help save lives. Hospitals use the donations for multiple procedures.
Even routine surgeries need blood transfusions, and certainly sick cancer patients, people with leukemia, very chronic, fatal diseases need a lot of blood transfusions.
The Oklahoma Blood Institute is holding many events this spring to encourage people to give blood. Right now, if you donate, you will receive a t-shirt and your choice of a ticket to the Oklahoma City Zoo or the National Cowboy Museum. If you'd like to donate, you can make an appointment at obi.org or call your local Blood Institute. Reporting from Edmond, Oklahoma, Jocelyn Schifferdecker, UCentral News.
Thank you, Jocelyn. And Oklahoma City Animal Welfare say they're 36% over capacity for dogs, and that comes out to be 106 dogs. Adoptions are from noon to 5:30 every day. Oklahoma City Council votes to accept a maximum of $200,000 for a consultant's recommendation for the Oklahoma City Police Department. UCentral's Jonathan Richardson has the latest.
39 recommendations to improve police reform was the highlight of the March Oklahoma City Council meeting.
You hold a title, you hold a position, you're in a position to fix change and make this world a better place for all of us.
The city has hired consultants to provide more structure, but how much guidance will we potentially need?
Will you all assume responsibility for the successful implementation of these recommendations?
So again, that would depend on what we are asked to do as part of that. We are not coming in to be the sole entity to implement, so I don't think I can say yes.
My responsibility and what I expect with 21CP is they're helping to guide us in this process with their experience to help us to be successful.
The report focused on recommendations on 8 topics, some of them being law enforcement de-escalation policy, independent law enforcement accountability to the community, and police officer access to mental health services.
I think that it's definitely a step in the right direction, and I think that we can show the community that we actually care about them and that their voice matters.
With Oklahoma ranking 42nd in education, students are set at a disadvantage at an early age.
So many of our students at Jefferson and all across this city, so many of them, when they go home, rather than being able to do homework, They are helping to raise their cousins and their little brothers and sisters. That's what they're doing. And so it's hard for them to focus on public education in their school because they have a commitment to their families.
Everyone's voice was heard, from Oklahoma City citizens to city council members. If you would like to attend in the future, Oklahoma City conducts a council meeting every other Tuesday in each month. From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, I'm Jonathan Richardson, UCentral News.
Thanks, Jonathan. And it has been so beautiful these past couple of days, don't you think?
It really has. I'm loving the weather. And instead of MC, we've got our own CJ here today. CJ, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. It definitely has been a very beautiful past couple of days here in Edmond and out throughout the majority of Oklahoma, and it's going to continue to stay that way, at least for the next couple of days. As we can see here sitting in Edmond at about 80 degrees under sunny skies, feeling very nice, very warm out there today here in Edmond. The wind's blowing south at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not too bad, but we are going to see some gusts getting up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour. But for the majority of that isolated wind is going to stay at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. It's feeling like it's 78, so it's definitely a very nice day out here in Edmond. If you have anything going outside, running some errands, today would be the day to do it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather headlines coming up here. We are going to see a fire risk with all this warmer air and wind starting to make its way throughout the state, and that's going to up the risk for wildfires throughout the state. But we are going to see a cold front that's going to make its way through the state this weekend, and with that cold front is going to bring some colder air and some storm chances along with it. So that's all I have right now for weather. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, CJ. And UCO's College of Fine Arts and Design is hosting a fundraising event next week. Proceeds from the event will go towards student scholarships for UCO's Symphony Orchestra. Tickets are $100, and this will be 6 p.m. Tuesday in the Nyes Grand Ballroom.
And the International Gender and Sexual Studies Conference is now seeking student submissions. UCO asks that submissions address issues of gender and sexuality across various disciplines. Students can submit proposals on the conference's website. All submissions are due April 22nd.
And as students return to the classroom after years of online learning due to the pandemic, teachers, tutors, and parents are having to rethink traditional learning.
That's right. UCentral's Logan Gassett spoke with the teacher to see what changes they're noticing.
For over 2 years, online learning has been used off and on for schools across Oklahoma and is being incorporated into regular classrooms today. Now, teachers are starting to notice a change in their students since returning to normal classrooms.
It's definitely been a different experience, that's for sure. Socially, especially going back and kind of teaching them, this is how we talk to one another, this is how we problem solve. If, somebody isn't getting along, how do we talk to them about that, and teaching them those skills.
Those within positions of education are doing what they can to fill the gap left from the impression of online learning for students of all ages.
We have actually had some tutors that have been coming just to help us close the gap, try to make sure that they do have those things that they missed out on maybe last year since they were only in school half the time.
But the change that came with online learning is not all bad, and positive attitudes remain for many.
I know that technology sometimes is not our best friend, but it was awesome that our kids had the opportunity to still learn while at home. I know it was a hard task for parents to be doing their job and also helping their child learn, but the fact that they were able to be at home and still learn and not just shut down schools completely.
This is Logan Gassett reporting from Edmond, UCentral News.
Thanks, Logan. Still ahead on UCentral News, it's warm and sunny. How long it's sticking around in CJ's full forecast. But first, previewing an amazing musical that our MT program is putting on for this week only after this.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
Welcome back. And the UCO Music Theater Department is starting off their spring semester with one of the most deadly musicals in history.
That's right. I visited them during their rehearsal process, and I have a preview. Let's take a look.
There are two things this musical and this cast have in common. They are both bloody brilliant.
Sweeney is a story primarily about revenge. This man named Sweeney Todd gets ousted to jail for 15 years because a pious judge wants to be with his wife, and he comes back wanting nothing but to just get back at the judge and anybody who stands in his way.
The musical comes from the London legend of a barber from Fleet Street who murders his customers, then gives their bodies to his partner in crime, who bakes them into her meat pies. The concept originally began as a melodrama in 1847 and had many adaptations over the years before the legendary Stephen Sondheim composed it as a musical in 1979. Sondheim is considered a guru when it comes to music theater, and quite frankly, he's one of the best to ever do it.
The passing of Sondheim was hard for everybody because that's, as musical theater students, that's like your lifeblood. That's the stuff that you want to do because he made music for actors. And so when you have a genius like that, all of a sudden, just like that, he's gone. It's a lot.
Sadly, Sondheim passed of heart disease just last year after Thanksgiving. That's why it was important for this cast and crew to do this Tony Award-winning show justice. While on the outside the story appears deadly, Sondheim knew that comedy had to be perfectly placed within the nooks and crannies of the lyrics.
The comedy aspect of the show comes from the text itself. We don't need to do anything to make the show funny because the funny moments in this super serious show are the situations themselves.
The program is so heavily packed with talent that the show is double cast. The rehearsal process started early for these actors, and they are more than ready for an audience.
It's really special when you get a chance to get a group of different aged people with varying experiences of performing together to put together this huge gargantuan piece of theater, and seeing everyone come together and come into their own in different ways with the two different casts. It's fun. That's what we do this for, you know? A little bit more special this time around because of Sondheim's passing. I'm just amazed with the work that we've been doing so far.
And you can catch this killer show at Mitchell Hall this weekend only. The show starts at 7:30 tonight and runs through Saturday with a 2 p.m. matinee show on Sunday. And I am so enjoying these temperatures. It's honestly insane.
Oh my gosh, me too. CJ, what you got?
You're right. You guys are absolutely right. It is finally so relieving to have a break from all of that winter mix nonsense that we've been dealing with the past couple of weeks. And finally, we're going to start to see some warmer temperatures as we start to move throughout this week. However, we're not completely out of the woods yet, as there's going to be a cold front moving in next week as well. So weather headlines for this week, we are going to see a fire risk with those elevated temperatures and the wind starting to pick up as we move into the next couple of days here in Oklahoma. We're also going to have that cold front move in this weekend, and with that cold front is going to bring some colder air and some precipitation along with it. Let's go ahead and check around current conditions around the state of Oklahoma real quick. As you can see, sitting very nice, very warm around the state, as you can see, with Guymon sitting at about 83 degrees, Woodward 81, Metro sitting at about 77 degrees. So overall, a very nice, very warm day here in Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's forecast for Edmond. As you can see, sitting here at about 52 degrees, being our low under clear skies, and that wind's going to die down a little bit, going to about 5 miles per hour. And the humidity is also going to rise just a little bit, but we are not going to see some rain coming along tonight. So it's going to be a very cool night tonight as we start to move into tomorrow. And let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's lows around the state. As you can see, high 40s, mid 40s throughout most of the state, the only exception being Idabel sitting at about 44 and Miami 44. But for the majority part, we are going to see about the same amount of temperature change here throughout all of Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highs for tomorrow as well. Guymon sitting at about 79 degrees, Woodward 74. The Oklahoma City metro area sitting at 74 degrees. So a lot of 70s, a lot of warm weather ahead in the forecast. And let's go ahead and take a look at what you can expect coming tomorrow here in Edmond. At 7 a.m. it's going to be 53 degrees under fair skies. Very nice weather for your morning commute to your work or your job or your school. And then going into noon, that temperature is going to rise up to about 70 degrees. That sky is going to stay clear with sunny skies throughout the majority of the day. And then moving into the evening, 7 p.m., sitting at about 68 degrees under clear skies. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at our 7-day forecast real quick. As you can see, Thursday today, the high is going to be 80 degrees. And then moving into Friday and Saturday, that temperature is going to remain relatively the same. It's going to be warmer temperatures. But as you can see on Sunday, that's when we're going to have our rain chance, and that's when that front is going to make its way through Oklahoma. And with it, it's going to bring colder temperatures for the majority of the state, as you can see moving into Monday and Tuesday, 48 and 56 degrees respectively. So the good news is we aren't going to see any more of those crazy winter cold snaps, but we are going to see some cooler weather on the horizon. Guys, that's all I have for weather right now. Back to y'all.
Thanks, CJ. And a controversial music video and a vision of what the future will look like for a familiar Disney show. More on that after this.
Whitehead, welcome.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to UCentral News. I'm Tyler Whitehead, and Ye and Pete Davidson are a major topic of discussion today after some controversial imagery. Ye released a new music video for his latest single, Easy, which featured dark imagery in a black and white claymation style. In the video, Ye presents himself abducting and burying Davidson in a grave. This comes after Ye's ex-wife Kim Kardashian was declared legally single yesterday. Kardashian and Davidson are rumored to be in a relationship. What do you think about this music video? And speaking of music artists, from acting on Disney to winning Billboard's 2022 Woman of the Year, Olivia Rodrigo has stayed in the spotlight. In her acceptance speech for the award, she praised prior female music artists for giving her strength. She also shared how much songwriting means to her in terms of capturing how she feels. If you're looking for more from Rodrigo, she will be releasing a road trip movie exclusively on Disney Plus on March 25th. And moving from songwriters to superheroes, DC's latest film, The Batman, releases tomorrow. The film stars Robert Pattinson as the titular role. It adapts the well-known superhero in a more dark landscape. While Batman has been featured alongside other superheroes in the DC universe, this film is a standalone feature. DC is already planning a trilogy and several series to spin off from this film. Will you be watching the latest iteration of Batman? And speaking of returns, you can gaze into the future and have a vision of Raven Baxter returning to her childhood home. Disney Channel has renewed the That's So Raven revival for a 5th season. The series, titled Raven's Home, follows Raven as she navigates her psychic abilities in her adulthood, but now she must return to San Francisco to help take care of her dad. The season will feature many familiar locations like the Chill Grill, Raven's High School, and more. The season premieres March 11th. And Jessica and Eden, I was a big That's So Raven fan growing up, so I might have to tune into my cable to watch that premiere.
That just gave me all the feels.
I have goosebumps.
Right.
I'm literally so excited.
The Chill Grill. I forgot about the Chill Grill. How could I forget about that?
Such good memories.
All right. Well, Aaron will preview the UCO men's basketball team's game tonight when we return, so stay tuned.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back, Bronco fans. It's not the weather update. I'm Aaron Gelvin. It's your Thursday sports update. Here we go. The UCO men's basketball team begins play in the MIAA conference tournament tonight against Northeastern State at 6:00 p.m. in Kansas City, Missouri. The Broncos had a bye for the first round of the tourney as the 1 seed by virtue of winning the regular season conference crown, and it was quite a celebration when they clinched the title. Gotta love that. Thank you to my man, Jonathan Richardson, for getting that great video. He did say he got some water on him in the process of getting that video for us, so thank you again. Coach Bob Hoffman was named the MIAA Coach of the Year in just his 3rd season as the coach of the Broncos, and a UCO win tonight would have Central in action next on Saturday evening. And the UCO women's basketball team won their first round game in the MIAA tournament in dominant fashion over Emporia State, 88-53. Kelsey Johnson led UCO with 25 points and 8 rebounds, while Brooke Rayner added 19 points in just 27 minutes. The 7-seeded Broncos had number 2 state Fort Hays State this afternoon in Kansas City in the quarterfinal round. That game went final at about 4 p.m. today, and Fort Hays State pulled away in an exciting close fourth quarter, winning 71-63. Johnson had 29 points and 13 rebounds in the final game of the year for the Broncos. And the UCO baseball team was coming off a 2-1 series victory over Missouri Western early this week, but the team fell yesterday against Southeastern Oklahoma State, losing 10-3. It continues a similar trend for the team this season.
Steps back behind the arc, pulls the trigger, no good. Another offensive rebound by Roby. Finds Pokashevsky, who soars up for the one-handed hammer. Starting 5 on the floor for Mark Daignault. There's SJ trying to turn the corner. Got a
That 3-game series against Rogers State coming up this weekend for UCO baseball is scheduled for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They've really had an up and down season this year. They'll win a couple, they'll lose a couple, really face some adversity, but they are winning a handful of games here and there. And again, a huge series coming up with Rogers State this weekend. And it was a surprising win, as you saw a little bit there, by the Oklahoma City Thunder last night against the Denver Nuggets in Denver. They were a playoff-bound team, and they had won 5 in a row on their home floor, but OKC snapped that streak, winning 119-107. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the Thunder in scoring with 29, and he also grabbed 7 rebounds. So it was 6'8" Isaiah Roby starting at center last night, who scored 26 points in 24 minutes to help the Thunder pick up the win. And Denver was led by reigning MVP Nikola Jokic's 22 points, but it wasn't enough as OKC was able to keep the Nuggets at arm's length late in the fourth quarter before winning by 12. The Thunder begin a 3-game homestand tomorrow night against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are currently 7th in the Western Conference. Tip-off for that one is set for 7 p.m. Central Time in the Paycom Center. And that's everything I have for sports today. Have a great evening, Edmond, and we'll take it back to Jessica and Ian at the desk. Guys, huge game for UCO basketball tonight. Are you guys excited?
I'm so excited. I really feel like they have the potential to win this tournament, honestly. Still ahead, from trading cards to selling them. How much are people willing to pay after this?
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back. And trading Pokemon cards is one thing, but shelling out hundreds of thousands of dollars is on another level. This near mint condition vintage gaming card was sold for $900,000.
The Pocket Monsters Japanese promo illustrator holographic Pikachu card was created in 1998 and was only released in Japan. There were more than 30 other offers, but an unknown bidder won out in the end, shattering the former record and making it the highest priced Pokemon card ever sold. That is a lot of money, guys, for a Pokemon card.
What I would do
Pokemon,
with $900,000.
Right.
So much just for one card, too. That's the crazy part.
Not even a collection.
Absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
Well, that's all the time we have today. I'm Eden Jones.
I'm Jessica Morales.
And I'm CJ Craig.
Thank you so much for joining us, Broncos. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah.